my previous video, the one titled What Happened to My Reptile Room, which if you haven't watched that video yet, I would definitely recommend watching that. In that video, I talked about how I want to just change and upgrade all of my snake care, basically. So this video might be a little bit boring to some because it's kind of just gonna be me sitting here talking about my plans and my snakes and stuff, so if that's not your style video, then that's fine. But anyways, let's just start talking about snakes and my snake care. So I currently own 12 snakes myself. I have 5 ball pythons, a Pueblo milk snake, I have a children's python, a Kenyan sand boa, a Brazilian rainbow boa, and an Amazon tree boa. Most of these snakes I've had for a few years now. I haven't gotten any new snakes in quite some time, so yeah, I don't know, there's my snakes. I don't really know where I'm going with this. Recently I decided that my main goal for 2021 when it comes to my animals and stuff is to upgrade basically all of my snakes. Like I said, I have 12 of them, so that's a lot of upgrades to do. So the main reason I want to update my snakes care and stuff is basically just because I think that I could do better. Standards are changing, you know, we're constantly learning new things, and what I thought was great snake care a year ago isn't really what I think is great snake care now. So for example, let's take ball pythons. If you watching know anything about ball pythons, you probably know that ball python care is very, very, very controversial. And now I do want to say that I am not here saying that my way is the only right way. I'm not saying anyone else is wrong. This is just personally like my opinion, what I'm choosing to do. However, I think it's okay to do differently. There isn't just one perfect way to care for an animal. People have different methods and different things work for different people. So yeah, just want to say I'm not here to shame anyone or anything like that. I'm just talking about what I want to do in my plans. So as I was saying, ball python care is very controversial. On one end of the spectrum, you have people who believe that ball pythons are very shy, nervous snakes, that they do best when they're in small enclosures because they feel safe and secure. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have people who think that, you know, ball pythons, you know, they're not a huge snake, but they're decently large. You know, they can get 3, 4, 5 feet long, especially females. They can get quite big. So then on the other end of the spectrum, you have people who think the absolute bare minimum size a ball python should be in is a 4x2x2, you know, lots of enrichment and things like that. So you have very, very different styles in care when it comes to ball pythons. And again, I'm applying this to just all of my snakes, but ball pythons are definitely the one I see it with the most often, so I'm just saying ball pythons for now. My very first snake I ever had was a ball python. When I first got him, I set him up in a 40-gallon tank with a warm hide, a cool hide, you know, your pretty basic ball python setup. Since then, I have changed my ball python care a little bit, but I honestly haven't really updated it much. Right now, all of my ball pythons are in exoteras that measure 36 inches long, 18 inches wide, and 12 inches tall, and I want to change that. So as I was saying, when it comes to ball python care and stuff, there's really two very different ends of the spectrum on what people think is best. And again, I'm not saying one is wrong. However, I definitely find myself leaning more towards the style of larger, naturalistic enclosures that provide the snakes with a lot of enrichment. Over the past few months especially, I've noticed my ball pythons moving around in their enclosure a lot, and now I know some people say that this is a sign of stress. I disagree. I don't think my snakes are exhibiting signs of stress. I think if anything, they're just trying to explore. You know, my snakes are, as far as I can tell, very healthy. They stay nice in their hides all day, they're sleeping, and then at nighttime they come out and start moving around. Seeing my snakes move around in the enclosures that they're in right now, I'll be honest, has made me sad. It has made me really realize that I think my animals need more space. I don't like the size enclosures that they're in anymore. And now I do want to say, the majority of my ball pythons are not full grown. I have had them for a few years. A lot of people like to power feed ball pythons and have them reach adult weight in like 2 years. I don't think this is healthy at all. I think it is much healthier for a snake to reach an adult size at a very slower pace. My ball pythons, you know, are like 3 years old and they're just getting close to there. I think, you know, 4 years old is more ideal for them to hit an adult size and not be just power fed and forced to grow really big. That's not really healthy for them. So my ball pythons aren't even full grown yet, and I think that their enclosures are too small. So, you know, this very obviously tells me I should upgrade. You know, the longer that I've owned animals and the more I've worked with them, you know, the different species and stuff I've worked with, you know, not only do I have the experience of my own snakes and, you know, I get to see them every day, but I also worked with a ton of different snakes at the zoo that I used to work at, and these included snakes much larger and much smaller than my own. You know, I was caring for small snakes like garter snakes, but then I was also dealing with things like retics and burms and stuff, so lots and lots of snakes there. And just in my opinion, in my experience, I think that snakes need a lot more room than we commonly give them in captivity. Read a ball python care guide, you know, it's probably gonna say like a 20 to 40 gallon is all you need for adults. Some people are very adamant that you shouldn't go bigger than a 20 gallon. I heavily disagree with this. When we're caring for these animals in captivity, I personally believe that we should be striving to keep them in an environment that, you know, mimics their natural habitat. And when the snake is longer than the enclosure that it's even in, I just don't think that it is fair to the snake. Personally, I want to give my snakes more room to move around. I feel like when it comes to snakes, it's almost like so many of us as reptile keepers honestly just forget how big they get and how much room they need. I know we look at a corn snake that's maybe only 3 or 4 feet long, you know, it's not that big, you can kind of hold it in your hand, and so, you know, we see that and we don't really see a big animal, but then if you think about it, this animal is 4 feet long. You know, these are big animals. Even small snakes, I just think, are bigger than we give them credit for, if that makes sense. Probably sounds weird, but you know, they're long. They're long animals, and I think that they just need more room to do their snake things, you know? So yeah, now that I've just like rambled on telling you why I decided to upgrade my snake care, let's talk about the future plans a little bit more. Man, this video is just like all over the place, but that's fine. It's okay to have a video like this every now and then. I'm just rambling. So when it comes to upgrading my snakes, I haven't fully 100% decided what I'm going to do yet. I'm most likely going to be building enclosures because, for example, for my ball python enclosures, I want them to be like 4x2x2, and like I said, I have 12 snakes that I want to upgrade. Buying that many store-bought enclosures would be very expensive, and I think that I'm going to be way better off if I just take the money that I would use on enclosures and invest that towards just some building supplies and build my own. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do yet. I still need to like design things out and plan things out more and see what's gonna work with my room, because it's gonna change a whole lot, you know? Building these enclosures is going to make a huge difference in my reptile room. You know, going from enclosures that are 3 feet wide and 1 foot high to 4 foot wide and 2 foot high, you know, that's it's a big difference, especially when you have a lot of them. And, you know, I'm still not entirely sure what I want to do with my tree boa, what size enclosure I want to make for her. Same with like my rainbow boa. And I do have some other non-snake animals I might upgrade, but I won't talk about that right now. We're just talking about snakes. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is I have a lot of things that I need to plan out and figure out, and yeah. I think as pet owners, it's incredibly important to stay updated with care and new information and stuff, and to not get stuck in your own ways. You know, the longer that we keep pets, the longer we have animals in captivity, we are constantly learning more and more about them. And if you're someone who just gets stuck in your ways, especially for an animal that lives 20-30 years, your care in the future is probably going to be very subpar. And I think that it's really important to realize that. I think it's important to realize that we can continue to grow and continue to learn. When it comes to getting a pet, you know, you should always do research before getting that animal, but you should continue to do research your entire time owning that animal, because like I said, things change, things get updated, we find out new information. So it is so important to stay on top of that as pet owners. And you know, it's okay to decide, I don't think I'm doing a good enough job, I could be doing better, because that is very much how I felt with my snakes. You know, I followed snake care guides and everything. You know, I obviously did my research and I set up these enclosures that at the time I thought were really good for my snakes. And you know, now that I have another year or two of experience and knowledge in my brain, I don't think it's good enough anymore. I think I need to be doing better. So that is what I want to do. So yeah, again, I don't really know what the purpose of this video was. was. This is just kind of me sitting here rambling to a camera. If you enjoyed it, thanks. If you didn't, that's okay. My videos won't always be like this, but sometimes you just need to ramble to a camera, you know? So yeah, I think I'll just go and end this video here now. Like I told you guys, I'm upgrading my snake enclosures in the new year, so hopefully I'll have lots and lots of fun videos coming soon for that. I'm definitely excited about that. I'm excited to get them upgraded and excited to do videos on it, so yay, that's my 2021 plans. So now that I've rambled for so long, I'm just going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also be sure to check out my social media. That will all just be down in the description below. I would love to have you guys over there, so be sure to check that out. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in my next video.